what's going on everybody? Ed here. Are you wondering which website platform is best for beginners? I'd like to share with you my own experience to help you decide. I want to share my website journey with you, and everything I discuss in this video is in the description below. Feel free to click on the links. So I got started in web design around 2013. I wanted to learn about websites, and WordPress was my top choice at the time. I was amazed by all the hosting options, plugins, and themes you could buy. So I checked out this website called Theme Forest. I realized I could build a great website without knowing a lot of coding. So I decided to build my own website, and I chose HostGator for my website hosting. So back then, HostGator was advertised as a top hosting company, and it was mentioned alongside other hosting companies like Bluehost. And for my WordPress theme, I used a Theme Forest theme that I thought looked modern and beautiful. So everything was fine until my website stopped working and looked like it had been deleted. So I called HostGator to ask what happened and if there was a backup for my website. I'm not sure what caused the problem. Maybe I changed something in the dashboard, but either way, my website was just completely gone. And HostGator's customer service told me they couldn't recover it and I wouldn't be able to get my website back. So I asked again if there was any way to see if there was a backup for my website, but they still said that there was nothing they could do. So after that experience, I just decided to leave HostGator and try out other hosting companies for my website. And to this day, I personally do not recommend HostGator just due to that experience. So I tried other hosting companies like Bluehost, and I also tried SiteGround. Bluehost worked really well, but I wasn't too happy with their customer service. I found that it was often slow when they were responding, and they were not very helpful in my own experience. SiteGround, on the other hand, gave me no problems, had excellent support, and they were great overall. The only thing was that they were just a little bit more expensive than Bluehost. I also tried out many other WordPress themes. I discovered that there was this theme that I could use called Divi, and I thought that that was a game changer at the time. I didn't have to work on the back end of WordPress as much anymore, and I could use like a smooth drag and drop builder, and I liked Divi a lot. But then I saw a lot of negative feedback about Divi. One problem people mentioned was that Divi was just too bloated, which made the websites just a lot slower. Unfortunately, I was influenced by all these comments, and it made me look for other website platforms. Therefore, I eventually stopped using Divi. That's when I discovered Squarespace. For me, Squarespace was a dream for web designers. I could drag and drop anything I wanted, and it was quick to get a website up and running. Another thing you didn't have to deal with was with the separate hosting company. In WordPress, you have to use hosting company, you have to get a domain name somewhere else, but with Squarespace, it was all in one. It was the domain name, it was the hosting, and also the platform itself. Everything was just all in one. And I barely needed any tutorials for Squarespace because I could just figure out things for myself. It was that easy to use. I even started to freelance with Squarespace as my main platform, and I used it for over 10 plus years. Many of my clients who came to me had WordPress websites because they were often very popular, but they were very frustrated with the designers or the agencies due to the plugin issues and outdated designs. And that's where I came in. These clients came to me because I would update their websites with a modern look and just bring them to Squarespace, which was often easier to manage. Many people comment about Squarespace and SEO, but none of the clients personally ever had a problem about SEO, Google ranking, or site speed. If you want the fastest website in the world, maybe Squarespace is not the best, but it worked well for me. Even now, if you're looking for a website platform, I highly do recommend Squarespace. Easy to use, and your website could be up and running in a day. And I think that's really good. So after using Squarespace for many years, I wanted to learn more about web design, so I started working on my HTML and CSS skills. So I took some programming courses on Udemy because I wanted to become a better web designer. That's when I noticed a platform called Webflow that was being advertised. As a web designer, Webflow felt like the next best step for me. While I could build basic websites during my programming courses, I didn't enjoy so much time just looking at Visual Studio Code. The programming process for me was stressful, and I wanted to go back to a more visual way of building websites. That's why I chose Webflow. I wanted to mix some coding and a drag and drop experience in web design. design. Webflow is known as a good web design tool, but I quickly saw that it had a steep learning curve. It took me about 6 months to learn the basics, and it was much longer than I expected before I felt comfortable building websites for my clients. I also wanted to create animations in Webflow because that's what I've been hearing about on the advantages of using the Webflow platform, but I often felt frustrated because I couldn't get the results I wanted right away. With all that said, I don't think Webflow is a bad platform at all, and I do highly recommend trying it if you are interested in web design, but it personally wasn't for me. And if you're a web developer and you don't mind the learning curve, I highly recommend Webflow for you. After Webflow, I started looking for another platform. I kept seeing YouTube videos about Elementor and thought I should give it a try. Since Elementor works with only WordPress, I was fine with using WordPress again if it meant I could use Elementor. And when I was using Elementor, I felt that Elementor didn't have a steep learning curve like Webflow, and it was much easier to figure out. It lets me use drag and drop approach, and it allowed me to customize my site however I wanted it to be. When I switched to Elementor and WordPress, I chose a new hosting provider as well. I did not go back to Bluehost, SiteGround, and not even HostGator. And so I decided to use this new one that I never heard before called Hostinger. Hostinger's been heavily advertised by people on YouTube, so I thought I'd give it a try. And for the first time when I was using Hostinger, I felt confident using that hosting company. It was really user-friendly and it was easy to set up the website. With Bluehost or HostGator, I remember being often confused by just the dashboard, but Hostinger was super easy, really user-friendly, and they also have tutorial videos if you are lost and need some direction in using Hostinger. Well, that's my story. I've come full circle and returned to WordPress after all these years, and I'm happy with my web design journey and how it turned out. To summarize, if you're an absolute beginner, you have absolutely no web design experience, I still highly recommend Squarespace. I've been using it on clients, I've been using it for my own websites, and it's super user-friendly. Customer service is really great. I have nothing but good things to say about Squarespace. If you think WordPress is the best route for you and you feel that that's the platform for you and you want to stay on it because most of the websites nowadays are on WordPress, I do highly recommend WordPress, but I do recommend it with using the Hostinger company and also using Elementor for the drag and drop feature. It'll just make your life so much easier. And I think that's the best combination. So use Elementor with Hostinger. And if you are interested in anything I just talked about in this video, I included all of the links I talked about in the description below. So feel free to check it out and let me know what you think. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Well, that's it for now. Until next time.